So, hello guys. So today we're gonna talk about um, a special feature in Grasshopper, and it's called Kangaroo. And what it does, it's it's a live um, physics engine. So what does that mean? You're gonna see it's has some movement. So this will be created from actually uh, like physical some powers, and it will help us create something called tensile structure, and we're going to be able to control it and control how much tensile or relaxed this mesh will be. So basically, Kangaroo, if you type here grasshopper, you can see one of the tabs that we have is Kangaroo. And so I will just encourage you to look through it. I'm going to show you how to create this tensile structure today, and how we're going to input a few things from Rhino, how we're going to build the definition in Grasshopper, and then finally how we're going to use Kangaroo. So don't forget, it's a live physics engine for interactive simulation. Could be used for form finding as well. So if you don't have a form in mind and you want to create it in a kind of algorithmic way, this is a way to think about it. Maybe you have some inputs, you don't know the outputs. Kangaroo fits well in that. So let's build, let's build the composition. So as you can see here, I'm just going to show you how I have it here. So I have part one. So we have 4 parts of the definition. Also, I included all this in the PDF, and I put some notes and stuff like that, but you can also listen to this recording. Sorry, I had an issue with my headphones. Let me check. Yeah, it is recording. Okay, cool. So we have 4 parts of the definition. I included this in the PDF. So the first part, we're gonna import the curves from the Rhino. We're gonna create a surface, convert it into a mesh, and then deconstruct the mesh to get some output from it, some points and some data. The second part, we're gonna use points. So as you can see here on the Rhino, these are the curves I'm talking about that I'm going to explore. So we have 4 curves, and those are the points. So what is the curve doing? It's giving me an area to work with, and the points are some forces that I need to pull this mesh up, basically. So the second part will be about moving those points in the Z direction, and then the third part will be connecting those forces together. So I would need anchor points. So I would need anchor points, which will be the corners of the mesh. And those 3 points will work as an anchor points, but moved one in the Z direction. And then the mesh will be kind of in between them. And then I'm going to use the Kangaroo component to create it. And then I'm going to finalize it with a preview. Okay, so let's build this definition together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first part. I'm going to say curves. And these are imported directly from Rhino. I'm going to say point. Okay, so for the curve, what I'm going to do, I need multiple curves. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to turn this off for us to focus on what we need. And I'm going to put this, so we have all of this here. Okay. I'm going to export this. And then I'm going to go here and say set multiple curves. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to create now a surface, basically, a boundary surface. And then, so I'm gonna type here, boundary surfaces. One of these, that one I want. Type surface. So I'm gonna do this. You can see immediately the surface is created. As I mentioned before, so Kangaroo only take meshes, doesn't take surfaces. So we need to convert this into a mesh. So I'm gonna type mesh here and see what options I have. I would choose this if I'm importing mesh from Rhino, but actually I'm converting this surface into mesh. So I'm gonna put this one here. So now I have a mesh. I can turn this off, and then I need to divide it into U and V. Let me put, for example, 40. I'm gonna connect it for both of them. Because it's a square, I can have, I mean, you can have a slider for each, and you can have a different number. I'm gonna do this. Okay. And then we need to divide it. So although I have U and V, but I can't visualize it. Now, remember in earlier definition, we used to use this component called area, but that one works with surfaces and curves. It will not work with meshes. So what I'm gonna type G construct, and hopefully this will give me, not this one, reconstruct, where is it? This one, reconstruct mesh. So I'm gonna connect it to the mesh, and what this will do is it's gonna give me those points. So remember how we used to use the area to divide the surface? So I can have now less points. I have 40. I see it's very intense. I can have as 10. I can have as much as I want. Okay. So let's put, for example, 25. That's good enough for now. So this is the first part, basically, of the definition. Okay, so you can basically group it. You can give it a tag. You can say part 1 of the definition. You can also, as I mentioned before, can do purple and just type it. So part 1, for example, and make this a bit bigger. You can put here and put another description here, for example. Anyway, so this is our first part. Okay, so the second part we're gonna create is the points. So now I wanna set multiple points. I'm gonna, oh, don't do this one. That's not a good way to do it, actually. I'm glad I did it this way because I shouldn't do it this way. So I'm gonna say set multiple points. I'm gonna choose 1, 2, and 3. You need to know the direction. That will help you a bit later. Okay. And then what we need to do is to create something called, or insert a component in Grasshopper called closest points. This one will connect. I'm going to show you what it's going to do, but we actually need this component. So I'm going to type it down and let's see what it does. Closest point. I'm gonna choose this one. So you have point and you have point. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna connect the P here. So it's connecting the 3 points that I have here with the mesh, basically. So I want to do this connection between the mesh and the points, and that's by using this component. So we're gonna connect. So the V here, if I hover over that, deconstruct the mesh. Sorry, it's not. Okay, vertices. So mesh vertices. So these basically points. I'm gonna connect it with the C output, which is the cloud, the point. So I'm connecting the meshes point with the 3 points that I have here. So I have this connection. So first I connected the curves to the mesh, and now the points I have to the points of the mesh, basically. So I have, remember before we used to do a distance, now we're gonna do this. And now I'm gonna move those points. So the whole idea is to move them in the Z direction. I'm gonna type move. I'm gonna connect this to the points. Then I'm gonna add the Z direction. And then I'm gonna, so already moved them to the new. No, I need to give it a slider. It should be anything. I'm gonna put 50, for example. I was like, why I can't visualize them? Okay, so they are too high. I'm gonna drop them a bit. So now actually you can see them. If press on here, you can see those. So I'm gonna turn actually those ones off. You don't need to see them. Also those on are off. So I have those points. I have those points. And this is what I need. So you can move all those points, the 3 points, you can move them in one slider, but if you want to move them in different heights, so if you use one slider, one Z direction, that means you are moving them all in the same height so that you can see they are going up and down together. If we want to have them in different height, I would say use this component called merge and create 3 sliders. I'm just going to add 20, for example. I'm going to do Control C, Control V, Control V. And then what I'm going to do, so you can see here, not only to output, but when you connect number 2, number 3 appears, and connect number 2, it gives you another. Okay, anyway, so that I'm going to connect. So I'm going to disconnect this one here. And I'm going to connect here. And now what I'm going to do, so this is the first point that I chose. This is the second point, and this is the third point. Okay, so you can see I have now individuality. I have different heights. It's more kind of customized. It's not. So it depends really what you want to create. So you can, as I said, you can have them all on the same height or at different heights. You can do this way, basically. Okay. So this is basically the second part that I wanted to show you. So we're gonna group them together. Okay, I'm gonna do this bigger. So you can right click, or actually you can just say Control G. This is my second chapter. I'm gonna call it. Okay. And then what do we need to do? So now we kind of move them. We have those anchor points on the top, and we have those points, which are the meshes that we want to control and create basically those center. Actually, let me turn this off. Probably I can move it. So as I said here, you can change that. Okay, it could be as simple as this, and you can add complexity to the mesh. Okay, so these are some of the slides and the heights. So these are the variables that we can have basically. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I want to create our third part of the definition, which has to do with data. Okay, and what I'm gonna basically create is so this part is to create is a fluid tensile structure, but we need to create that tension creator. We need to have it, and then we need to have anchor points, which are, so here you can see there's so many points. We need only the corners of the mesh, and then we need to create, so we need lower anchor points, and then we need higher anchor points. Okay, so the fourth or the third part of the definition will have like four components, four main components. So the first one will be the edge length, and this one is to create the actual tension between them. So I'm gonna connect basically the mesh with the mesh itself, okay? And then I'm gonna need a factor for the length factor. So I'm gonna put, it could be anywhere from 0 till 1, but I need it to be like, so I'm gonna put 0.4, sure, 0.4. Yeah. So anywhere I said between 0 and 1, okay? So this will create that tension that we mentioned. You can see like right now what's going on. But we will be able to show you that. But to do so, let's create the anchor points. So anchor points, those, so when you have an engine, a physics engine, you need anchor points. You need, so to create this tensile structure, you need something stable to hold it. Like just imagine you are building one physical, you need anchor points on the ground, but then you need a force to stretch the tensile upwards. So basically, I'm gonna do Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. So I need two of them. The one for the corner mesh, I'm gonna type corner and see what this say. I'm gonna connect this to the mesh. So that actually I'm gonna turn this off as well because it's a bit confusing. So yeah, this is what I want to show you. So we created those 4 points basically, and then this one I can connect it to the anchor points basically. So now those are the anchor points that I need, and then those other anchor points, which are the moved ones, we're gonna connect them here. So now I have, okay, now I need to turn this off. Yeah, let me keep it off for now. And so now we have the length we want, and yeah, so here actually what we need to do is I'm gonna disconnect this one because it should highlight when I do it. So actually I'm gonna use this P to use it to this P, and then I'm gonna connect this one here. So this is the target, basically, what I'm targeting, location to pull the anchor to. So I'm trying to pull the anchor to the geometry that I moved it, okay? So we are not going to visualize it now. It's going to happen soon. The fourth component I was telling you about, really it has the simple component, and it's just to link the mesh to the final component that we are creating. So it's just kind of visualizing. You don't need to like worry about it, or not necessarily to add it, but it's better just for visualizing it. Okay. So the fourth part of the definition has to do with, sorry, I keep saying the fourth part is the third part. Has to do with data organizing. Okay. And now we will have something called the fourth part of the definition, which has to do with basically the Kangaroo definition. Yeah. So I hope you understand the basically the concept of it. So now I'm gonna enter the Kangaroo actual. This is the actual component that I need, and now you're gonna visualize what we did. So object calls, I'm gonna connect it here. You can see something happened here. And then I'm gonna basically, all my components will be going in here. So this is connecting with the corners of the mesh. So you can see something happened here. Now I'm gonna connect it with the top ones. They are lifted already. And now I'm gonna connect it with the show. And then you can see it basically. So without putting the show, I don't know if you noticed, let me again disconnect just the show. You can see it's kind of 2D without the surface, but when I connect this with the show, you can see how you can visualize it now. Okay. So now, yeah, so now our tensile is created by using this Kangaroo. Now there is two buttons that we need here. We need a reset button. So I have two components that I need to look for here. I have something called reset and I have something called on. So this needs to be on and off. And we can connect them with something called button that has this quality. It's like a switch button for resetting. So sometimes you change some variables and then need to reset it. Or something called Boolean toggle, which is also, as you can see, it has the rule. So double click is true, and then double click is post. So you can see this is changing. So you can make it, sometimes it's too heavy and you need to put it in false, so you need to pause it. So you can do your changes and then Kangaroo can run. So it has to do with the ability of the computer to run this physical engine while doing some changes. Okay. So this is very important. Okay. And then what we need to do is, remember how we had flatten before that? Now we need to do something called explode, and it is for data, but not the geometry, only the tree. And that will make it, will kind of flatten the data and take off any extra data that we actually don't need. And we're gonna connect it with the O here, which is the output of the data tree. So you can see here, already created this. And then we're gonna do something called, that we've done it before, called preview, just for us to be able to visualize it. And I'm gonna connect it here. Okay, so you can see it gave it some kind of color, so you can see what's going on. So this will be the Kangaroo part, and this will be the fourth part. Let's say part 4 of the definition. And what is nice about this definition is you can go back and maybe change some height. So maybe I can drop these and see how this is relaxing now. And drop this one as well. So you have totally different. Let me turn this off. So you can see how this is being affected. You can relax it, or as I said, you can connect them all with one slider and have one height. The other thing you can play with is how many subdivisions you have in your mesh. So you can see Rhino Kangaroo is updating as I increase. And see how it's giving you that tensile feeling. So also another thing you can play with, and you need to actually play with, because here I'm not very happy with this point. Let us try to move this point a bit inward and see how this will affect it. Doesn't look still cool for me. Yeah, that's not good. Put it out of it. I feel like it needs to be a bit here. Maybe it needs to be a bit higher than that point. So which one is it? I told you need to remember what you chose first, and I don't remember it. I think it's this one. No, it's this one. Okay. So I made it a bit higher. I moved it, and I think it looks better this way. Yeah, I can actually look a bit higher. Yeah, it's better for me at least. Okay, so this is the final definition for it. So we have 4 parts. I'm gonna do this. There are 4 parts of the definition. I added that in the PDF. So the first one to do with the curve and creating the mesh and getting information out of the mesh. The second part to do with the anchor base points, the 3 points. They could be 4, by the way, so they could be more. And moving them Z in different heights, basically. So we use the merge component, we use these 3 sliders, we use this Z direction. And then this one was the third part was data organizing. So we use something called edge length, which kind of connect with the mesh and create this kind of distance. And then we have 2 types of anchors. One is the mesh corner, and one the 3 points that need to put the tensile up. And this one just to show us the actual surface or tensile material. And then this is the 4th part, which is the Kangaroo part, where we connected the goal objects with the 4 components from the 3rd part of the definition. And then we exploded the trees just to flatten the data. And then we used the preview to be able to visualize it. So there's a few slides you can play with, which is the how many meshes you have, how many U and V, and the height of the anchors. And then here you have, of course, true and false, so you can turn it on or turn it basically off. So you can pause it, change a few things, and then turn it on, and you can see the physical engine working. So this is the definition so far. So I hope we're gonna practice it. Thank you very much.